If you don't know where you're going, then you might not get there. That's a quote that I just heard for the first time today in my 10% happier self-care session. Hello to everybody. For those that don't know what 10% happier is, 10% happier is an app that you can download. It was created by Dan Barker, who was the former news anchor for, I think it was NBC, one of those places. Not Dan Barker, Dan Harris. I got my people all confused. If you don't know where you're going, then you might not get there. This is about what is your motivation, or what are your motivations? And this is from a course in the 10% Happier course called Healthy Habits. Just talking about how to form healthy habits, how to get rid of old habits that aren't serving you, how to change your perspective and change your mind. First of all, I'm happy because it's the first time in a while that I've been able to do my self-care journey, and I miss doing these videos. So thank you so much for joining me. When I think about healthy habits, it's something that I try to cultivate every day, something that is definitely of the deepest importance to me and to most people, of course, because we all have things that we want to achieve. And so with this course and this particular session in the course is really thinking about what are your motivations, connecting to your deepest core values, connecting to what is it that you ultimately want in general and specifically. And so when I think about that question, a lot comes up for me. One of the things I think about is that we go about our days doing a lot of things. Some things are conducive to our goals, some things are productive, and some things aren't. It's all a journey. We're all trying to figure it out, and always trying to figure it out by trying different things. But it's important when trying to establish healthy habits to do things that are really conducive to what your overall goals are. So what I like about this course is that the teacher in this course, she talked about how her process is really about you getting to know yourself. It's you asking yourself the question, what ultimately is important to me? So that you can realize if your actions are lining up with that. Sometimes you may think that your actions are, and they aren't. They're serving another purpose to you, or they aren't serving you at all, and you're just in a funk. And there's a lot of things that can put you in a funk. Stress and anxiety, which I myself have personal experience with that and know what that's like. A lot of times anxiety makes me procrastinate, or sometimes it might keep me up late at night not sleeping. And the thing is, it might not be as apparent on the surface level, but as I dig down and as I meditate on it, I realize oh, this is anxiety that's doing this. And so sometimes when choosing actions and going about your day, sometimes it can be hard to figure out what's lining up. But there's a few things that we can do to be able to figure that out. One of the biggest things is looking at how we feel. How does it feel? Like D'Angelo said, how does it feel? Sometimes there are things that feel good to us, but then ultimately make us feel bad in the long run. Sometimes there are things that feel good to us and continue to make us feel good, and then there are things that don't feel good to us and that continue to make us feel bad. So just looking at your habits on a day-to-day basis, thinking about each and everything that you do, thinking about where you're spending your time, where your mindset is, where you're putting your energy in different ways, your verbal energy, your thought energy. It's so interesting how just in the realm of thought, you can be overtaken by thoughts, and that could be occupying your space. Even if you're not speaking, your head can be going. You can have a thousand thoughts a minute going through your head. See if I can get rid of this glare. I forgot to put up this quote. In fact, I'll probably put up later today. It's a quote from Common. Some people recognize the light, but they can't handle the glare. Keep shining. Don't worry about people understanding you. But as I think about forming healthy habits, it's always good to just take inventory every single day. This is what I like about mindfulness and meditation. It's self-reflection. It's daily self-reflection. And it's important because, sometimes you're doing things that you think are conducive to your goals. But yet at the same time, when you step back and take a look at them, you realize like, wow, this isn't really helping me at all. Or sometimes you're doing things that at one point they really did serve you for a particular purpose, and now they don't at all. There was one guy within this course, as they were working with like a group, and there was one guy who they were talking to. He was trying to figure out how to develop an exercise habit. That was his goal. And it was kind of funny because when he started talking, he said, yeah, I thought about I could do 10 push-ups in the morning, and then maybe, later on. I was like, 10 push-ups? I'm like, buddy, you're not feeling this. That's a struggle for you, because 10 push-ups. But I mean, give him credit, it was a start. But the thing I realized, even in the way that he said it, and the teacher in the course, she pointed it out as she gave her reflections to him, was that he was trying to do it because, it was of his value to find his way into exercise and health and fitness. That was something that was definitely valuable to him, and he was trying. But he was also, there was a cognitive dissonance there because the particular activity that he was trying to do was really not one that he wanted to do at all. And he had a bit of disdain when it came to traditional exercise, which I can understand. In fact, I had a conversation with a friend the other day about that, where, when it comes to health and fitness, my advice is not to go to the gym unless going to the gym is your thing, unless that's what you really, really enjoy doing. And then by all means, there are some of us out here that are gym rats. We love to be in the gym. And then there's other people out here, like in his case, when she drilled down, she said, is there any habit that you like to form? Oh, no, I'm sorry, she didn't ask that way. She said, is there anything that, when it comes to this particular goal, that does make you happy, that does bring you some kind of motivation? And he said he thought about it, and he was like, rock climbing. I love rock climbing, and I love hiking. And she was like, bingo. Form your habits around rock climbing and around hiking. And it was very much reminiscent of something I told a friend the other day who's into dance, or who likes to dance. And I'm like, yeah, don't go to the gym. Just dance your way into health and fitness. The only way that a habit is going to stick is for it to be something that you actually really feel is valuable, you really get joy out of. You have to get something out of it when it comes to personal satisfaction. The other thing about a habit too, about changing a habit, is that I remember hearing this from a psychologist. Habits take a while to form. So any habit that you currently have took a while to form, and so it is ingrained in your psyche. It is a part of your DNA. It's a part of the way you move. It's a part of the way you think, part of the way that you flow. So what he said was, instead of trying to stop a habit in order to stop the habit, he said something really simple and nuanced, which is that you just start the process of another habit. You can't stop it on a dime, so you start another habit. And then that eventually takes over. It was real simple, but it's pretty heavy to me. Real simple. And so I think about that. I think about my day in and day out, and I'm always examining what are my habits. I have been in the self-care journey since December and had some really good consistency. Over this past 4 weeks, my consistency has been off, and so therefore everything else has followed. I haven't felt as good as I felt 4 weeks ago. Hence this video and why I'm getting my ass back into my habit, because this particular healthy habit of self-care, of meditating every day, of stretching every day, and doing these, documenting my journey and sharing with others, that's one of the things that really actually helps my overall quality of life. So what are the healthy habits that you're trying to form or that you have formed? And how have they helped or served you? I realize that it's extremely important every day to just do a check-in, to just run down the inventory of your actions and see if the habits are still healthy and helpful. Because some habits that you have or have had before were for particular circumstances. I remember explaining that to someone. It was like, I realized that my particular actions and reactions were, I don't know how to get rid of this glare, yeah. My particular actions and reactions were a part of a particular kind of survival state that I was in during a previous time in my life when I needed to be in that state, because I needed it for survival. I needed it for maintaining my sanity. But it no longer served me, though, because I was in a different season of my life. So the habits that I had were no longer healthy. They were healthy at one point, and then they became no longer healthy. So it's so important to take inventory. Now, I will say that, there's a few habits that I feel like no matter what time of life, they're always healthy. And they're the things, the cliche things that we know. They're the rest that I didn't get too much of last night because I wasn't on my cane. There's, eating well. There's the diet, there's the exercise, and there's the rest. There's getting outdoors and walking. There's meditation. There's mindfulness. There's, having a social life and being able to fulfill that side of the coin. There's a lot of things. So on another sidebar, I'll be telling you all about this in a second. Straight down there at that monument, we're about to do a street serenade down here in beautiful Mount Vernon. 7 to 8:30 p.m. We'll probably be hanging around to about 9. Myself, Clarence Ward. If you're in that area, come on down. So, yeah, I think about these kind of habits, which pretty much are tried and true. They're helpful. They're vital. And so being able to assess and reassess those is always important. The other thing I liked about this course was how to explain that, when forming healthy habits, the most significant important thing that you can do for yourself is to be gentle and patient and kind to yourself. Because too many times we spend judging and beating ourselves up over things, and honestly, that's not a good habit. That's a terrible habit. That is not a healthy habit at all. And so being able to recognize and realize those kind of habits is extremely important, because you don't want to reinforce negativity into your life and into your psyche. And one of the biggest ways that you can do that is by judging yourself by your habits. There's a difference between hardcore judgment of yourself and just assessing to really take into account what you're doing and whether it's healthy or helpful. And so the latter is what we really want to focus on. So if anything, do not develop the habit of judging yourself hardcore. Develop the habit of observing yourself, taking inventory, but leave the judgment out. And so, yeah. So I'm happy to get back on at least one habit, which has been important to me, which has been my self-care journey, and sharing it with you and being able to take you on the journey for what it's worth. So thank you all so much for joining me. I'm actually going to take a second right before I let you all go and show you where we're going to be. If you cannot attend in person, by all means, please tune in via live stream. In about 20 minutes, myself, Clarence Ward III, we will be having a good old time right here in beautiful Mount Vernon. Let me show you all where we'll be. So we'll be right here in this beautiful park, Mount Vernon residents. I'm excited to be able to see you all in a few. I'm talking to a lot of people and excited. I think some of them are actually down there waiting. So we're actually going to be in this park, and we're going to be right here in front of the Monumento. And so either come on down and hang with us, or definitely tune in right here on my Facebook page, 7 p.m. Probably about 7:15 we'll get started. Much love, stay well, and continue to develop those healthy habits. Take care. Peace.